Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Designator and I'm working on a game called Sanctuary Zero. And today, we're trying something slightly different. I'm still trying to find my style and flow with these devlogs, so this time we have a lot more footage and voiceover recorded in the moment. This comes with a little bit of jank. I hope you can forgive that. Oh, and that also means that I recorded some of these first thing in the morning, and you can hear that. Sorry. Here we go! So, first thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna finish up with the dynamic music thing, because there's still some leftovers from testing. I implemented the scriptable objects, I just never adjusted the code in such a way that they can actually use it. Right now it's all still as values in the code, which is of course bad, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. If we now pull in the office music data in here, start the game. I don't remember what my hotkeys were for changing the intensity, but we're gonna figure that out. As you can see, I started a little bit of level design. We'll get to that later. What were my keys? I and O. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna fix this bug now. So I'll see you later when I have identified that. I found it. If you have a data container, you should probably fill it with data. So let me do that. Okay, that took a few minutes of debugging, but I figured it out and now everything works. So we have our dynamic music system back and in full swing. So, now that we have that, the primary goal for this week is to build this level into a somewhat, well, maybe not final, but more final version of itself. As you can see, I stripped it back down to like the essential parts. And I've already started working in Blender, as you can see down here, on creating more of a level, really. I'm also lighting set geometry, which is fun and makes quite a difference. But this still needs quite a bit of work. So, let's get to that. Let's jump into Blender and work on that. And here's the level in Blender so far. I guess I'm just, you know, there's not much to explain. It's basically just grabbing textures off of textures.com, sometimes Texture Haven, and then just working them into geometry. I grab a lot of textures off of textures.com, and then I just go into the normal Windows thingy-majig, click on resize image, and bring it down to like 25%, which is still way too big. Yeah, I guess let's cut that in half. There we go. 128 by 16 pixels. And I save that. Save that into the textures folder, into the platform. I'm gonna take an image texture, search for the one we just made, connect that. Now you can see it's a bit fucked. First of all, we can set texture filtering to closest, which helps already. Then we just cube project, which is even better, although still rough. UV editor. Yeah, okay, that explains the issue. Scale that up. No, I think it could work. So what we need to do now is we cut that down in the middle. Actually, maybe we're gonna cut that twice. There we go. And then now we bring that down like this roughly. There we go. And now we can change the others and just change their Y. And we're just gonna 180 this one, 180 this one, give them a little bit of distinction, and I think in context that'll look just fine. And I don't really care about it being like I'm not trying to emulate a certain time or genre, so I just do this until it looks good to me. And with like the amount of pixelation that looks good to me. So it's not going to be horribly consistent, but I don't really care about that. So yeah, there we go. So, unfortunately for the time lapse, a lot of my process when it comes to developing these is to just look at it from different angles and think about, okay, what is my next move here? What am I going to do? I think I just figured out what I want to do with this room. Yeah, I think I know what I want to do with this room. This is going to be a very different encounter than what it originally was, but it is nevertheless going to be very interesting. Here's another thing. When I'm building the 3D constructions, I separate them by loose parts to make them into separate meshes. That is so I can later in Unity just go in and just assign box colliders to this, which makes it far easier to have collision on everything. So here's a neat little Blender trick that you may or may not know. You probably know it, but you know. If you want to make like antenna towers, stuff like that, stuff that is made out of like steel tubing and whatnot, or like thin steel bars or whatever, then one way to do that is to just build the shape that you want, like this. Go to modifiers, add a modifier, wireframe. There we go. Now that gives you like a thin strips, and you can change the size. So let's put that to like 0.05. There we go. So now we have this, which doesn't look like much, but if we add before this modifier a triangulate, we get this, which is better. And we can, of course, we can go back into the mesh and we can control how that is actually constructed just by inserting loop cuts. But we can also add a subdivision surface. That's the one I was looking for. But I prefer to do it by hand, just so I have a little bit more control. So we do one there, we do a couple here, and then we get this, which already looks right. And you can change the way that it constructs itself. I think fixed gives like the most industrial results. So yeah, that's an easy way to get like these, yeah, whatever they're called, these kind of structures. Here's another thing that a surprising amount of people don't know. If you are in Blender, and this also works in Unity, if you have a thing selected and you have its transform here, and you want to move it by a precise amount, you don't need to do the math yourself. I'm going to duplicate this, and I want to change the y-axis here. And I want to move it 3 meters to the right, to my right. I can just click on this, navigate to the end of the number, and then just put in, by typing +3, I muted my microphone. So yeah. You can just put in math in there, and it works with basically anything. You can also put in like divided by 2, and then you get -5. So you can just put the math formulas directly into the transform boxes, and it just gives you the result, which is really nice. A lot of people surprisingly don't know that. Very useful. So, I did some work on this first ceiling area, populated it a little bit, built this little antenna tower, built these cranes with the lights on them, and I think it's already looking pretty neat. Wires. So, I am at half my workday at this point, roughly. Let's start with what we have right now. We have this little... the beginnings of this little courtyard with like the glowing trees, which are like an art installation kind of deal. Then you have a single drinks machine over there. There's going to be furniture in here. Same goes for this office space, which is at the moment dark. I did make this little neon sign that you'll only be able to see from like the inside, as well as from up here. There's still some issues with the fence. I'm gonna have to fix that. You come through here, this will be an office, will all be populated and lit, obviously. Then you jump across here. And you come through here. Here's this little combat encounter in like the construction area that I've shown off before. Then you have this vertical area, which is incredibly dark. Hold on. So yeah, you got this will be where the construction encounter lives. Then you have this vertical encounter that I need to redesign. But I really like the way that all these, like, you know, all the metal beams kind of interact with each other visually. That's interesting. And that'll eventually lead you up to the roof, where we have some, you know, climate control stuff. Still have some leftovers from the original white box, which I didn't realize. Then we have the solar panels. And then you can jump across here to the other side, across this fence. Have a little combat encounter here, though I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be just yet. And then in here, this is completely untouched. I just re-added the walls. So this is all still white box. In here, same idea. It's still white box. It's going to be like, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to put it in. Like maybe prototype robots or something like that. Something fun. Security checkpoint with ammo and stuff. And then you get into the boss fight. And the boss that is currently non-functional. It's just this guy. Just a model. With some IK attached to it. In the final version, this guy will basically drop through the ceiling here, through the glass, and then that's how the boss fight begins. And then you can barely tell there's like a shutter here, and once you've defeated the boss, this, you know, this shutter will rise. Can't rise it any more than that. And allow you passage to the next level, which will be beyond here. So yeah, that is where I'm at right now, at about halfway of the first day of the week. I then started working furniture. Didn't explain that at the time. So yeah, here's some of the furniture in action. Just getting there. Okay, so I did some more furniture models. And I started decorating this office space. There's a little meeting area here. Cubicles. Made sure that the cubicles aren't all the same. This guy obviously drinks a lot of coffee. Also standing desk. Standing desk. But yeah, I started decorating this. Got a little hangout area here. Whatever this is. More cubicles. Not done with it yet. As you can see, I was working here when I finished. Okay, so I had to make sure that players ignore the Z fighting here. I'll fix that at some point. I had to make sure that players find the shotgun when they go through this level, and I wanted to make it obvious. And one way to draw players is with light. And so, since this whole office is meant to be like the PR department of like a weapons company, I decided, why not lean into that and just have them have a little photo. Hello. But yeah, I decided, hey, why not give them a little photo shoot? Right, I figured I should probably also show it to you while it's running, because we do have these flickering lights, which do add some atmosphere. There we go. I implemented fall damage. Although it's technically not fall damage, it's technically stopping damage. It even should, in theory, also work if you like run against a wall or get smashed against a wall real fast. So if we just jump off here, we take damage, we get booted back to the beautiful main menu. But hey, it works. Let's see what that was. Yeah, okay. Apparently. Oh, that's not right. Oh, that's a lot of bugs I'm finding right now. Interesting. So apparently you can just... Okay. The trash cans will murder you. Good to know. I was able to fix that just by reducing the step height of the character controller, so it no longer tried to climb up in a way that would break its neck. So I was doing some sound work when I found another fun glitch related to the fall damage system. Namely, if you crouch and then stand up, it kills you. Easily fixed though. I've been meaning to make the transition between crouch and standing slower, at least by a little bit anyways, so I just implemented that and that fixed the issue. The way that the falling damage system works is basically by comparing the character controller's velocity this frame with the character controller's velocity the last frame, and if there's a significant difference, it'll do damage. So before, when it was instant, it basically just shot up and had a lot of velocity, and it basically just gave you head trauma. And now you can crouch to your heart's content. And that's it for this week. Let me know what you think about this style of video. I'll keep experimenting and improving. If you have any feedback or ideas, either for the video or for the game, let me know. And if you want to engage further, you can follow me on the Bird Health site or join my Discord server, link in the below. Bye bye!